Please give it up for.
That is coming up.
I've been to the world a couple of times. This is the first time I've done it barefoot, so please bear with me. Very quickly, because this is usually a 40-minute or so presentation, I organized a couple of groups, user group communities. KLPHP just started. We have a meeting this coming Wednesday, so please attend that. Details are at KLPHP. I also do New York, Dubai, Tampa Bay, Florida. I'm a developer. That's about it.
There's a lot of PHP jobs.
There's an enormous amount of PHP jobs. It's hard to find good PHP developers.
How much are you?
Sorry?
How much are you?
How much am I? I'll talk afterwards. We'll skip this. So the basic premise of this talk is how web development is changing from old school to new school. Old school is basically what a lot of people are probably using now, MVC, database abstraction, big object-oriented class hierarchies and so forth. A lot of this development mentality has come from, already 10 minutes? A lot of this development mentality is coming from desktop applications, and a lot of that doesn't even come from mainframe applications. This is super old school, if you will. This is rigid development. You build a big application, you roll it out. Anybody who's used Windows updates knows what I'm talking about. You have a big rollout cycle, testing cycle. These off-web kind of applications change slowly. They also include big, deep code, if you will. This is a lot around the object-oriented mentality. You need to abstract everything because you never know what could happen in the future. It's the what-if problem. What if this thing changes? I need to abstract that out of my code. All the abstraction and the class hierarchy is happening inside the code. This means when something changes that's outside of kind of the framework that you've established using these hierarchies, you have ugly hacks and workarounds, and things break, and things become unmaintainable. This is the building mentality of a website, right? When you build a building, you say this is going to have 15 floors, and you don't say later on, oh, maybe it's going to have 17 floors. It doesn't work like that, and it's not really a good fit for web development. New school. A lot of this comes, dare I say, from things like WordPress, Drupal, jQuery, where things are loosely coupled. Your MVC model has become changed. It's not a strict, rigid MVC type of hierarchy. Database abstraction, especially with things like Mongo, NoSQL, changes. You're not worried about writing to databases at any point in time. You have a data store, maybe it's S3, maybe it's Mongo, maybe it's MySQL, but you tend to stick with that. The design pattern is more about handling changes, not trying to encompass or handle all possible options, but expect change. You expect things to change. If you develop websites for a client, you know they're going to, even when the website is finished, they're going to email you and say, oh, can we change this? Can we change that? It's impossible to design for that. Web applications change all the time, and because you don't have the rollout period of let's say, down like a Windows update to a desktop, you can change it on the web server, and the change is instantaneous. Anybody who knows or uses Facebook knows that Facebook changes continually. They don't have the development model of, let's say, Microsoft Word. What's this mean for code? The code is shallow. You have snippets of code that you reuse, and you manage these hacks, if you will, more so than trying to properly design something in a kind of academic way. Things don't work that way. You have to expect the unexpected. And this model is good more like, in my thinking, like a car on an assembly line. As the car is moving down the assembly line, you can change the color, you can change the engine, you can change all these things. You're not building a building that has to have 13 floors. So what does this mean? This means that people are using more and more APIs. Very quickly, there's kind of two types of APIs. Server side, this is where the server is making an HTTP request to another server that produces some response, and then the website handles whatever that response is. The other way is browser side. This is the JavaScript embed, where you drop a piece of JavaScript into the actual HTML web page, and this is making API calls, usually over JSON or HTTP or HTTPS, to do something, but it's not going through the server per se. So when you have APIs, you're able to kind of change the dynamic and change how the code is working. Things become more stacks. Things become isolated between different things. So if there's an API for, let's say, handling video, or there's an API for Facebook, or there's all these different APIs, you're not worried about what that code base is doing. You're worried about hitting that stack over HTTP or HTTPS. You get a response, and the encapsulation is built in. It's not within your actual code. It's separated by HTTP for the most part. And this is the web's own mentality. This is the 2.0 or 2.1 or 3.0 or whatever you would like to call it. It changes the way that you think about web application development. Everybody here, I'm sure, loves the cloud, uses the cloud, and does a lot of stuff with the cloud. Not going into what the cloud actually is. Basically, we can say that because these are simpler code bases and they're more stack oriented, it's well suited for the cloud, because the servers in the cloud go up and down, and you can replicate these servers, and instead of having a big complex code base that has a lot of different touch points in the system and a lot of interdependencies, you're able to have a simple, small system that does one thing well, and you can scale that out much better using something like Amazon or what does this mean when you develop a website? Actually, on the server side, the server code is smaller. So the functionality is basically you're more of a conductor of different APIs. You're not having a lot of built-in functionality on your actual website. You're just connecting, wiring things together so that you can build the functionality that you want. The application functionality is simpler. You're handling more mundane tasks, URL routing, form validation. The code base, like I said, is smaller, and the browser side is bigger. The V of MVC is happening more and more on the browser, less and less actually on the server. And this is great for tablets, mobile, all these different things. You can have a server-side application that supports all these different views, tablet, mobile, desktop, without reinventing the wheel all the time on the server side. So a part of that is, enterprising the web. Everybody says, well, we want enterprise web development. What does enterprise web development really mean? Basically, in an enterprise, everybody says, can't somebody else do the work? So in this case, yes, it's true, because you instead of having to worry about a big complex code base with all these types of things, and then if somebody changes base class, the whole application breaks. All the interfacing is happening at the HTTP or API level. You can make much simpler calls using just JSON to get functionality. And again, this is good for the cloud because the separation of tasks. You have somebody working only on front-end development, somebody working only on back-end development, and they don't have to tie in together as much. Common APIs, probably everybody here knows. Browser side, Facebook, Flickr. Server side, S3 from Amazon. Zencoder we use a lot for video. MailChimp is whatever. Simple, Dynamo. Lots of APIs for mobile. This is, I think, I mean, everybody knows mobile is the next generation, but
really mobile is working very well. And then layered APIs, using APIs. Assembler is something I built. Everybody knows jQueries. There's WordPress plugins. Some of the original concepts of this, I think, came from WordPress, as good or bad as it may be. They did it very loosely coupled, and that we can talk about that later. There is one warning I have for this regarding the browser side APIs. So some sites I work on, we spent an enormous amount of time making sure the page response is fast, the HTML is clean, everything is perfect. And then they have about 24 share this icons, like it on Facebook, embed video, all these different things. So as a result, you get a 2 GB DOM, and then they say, well, how do we work it on, make it work on mobile? Yeah, okay, sure. So don't embed too much browser APIs, browser-based APIs, because it will kill the page, it'll kill your SEO, and it'll make my job extremely difficult. Future, basically, I think the thing here is document routes are going less and less, going more and more away. More things are virtual. You're not serving images out of your document root anymore. You're serving them out of S3 or some CDN or Akamai or whatever the case may be. Some of the sites that we use now, that we build now, have one file in the document root. Everything else is in the cloud. And of course, mobile. Here's some common ones, many more to come. This is a free system that I'm working on. It's very, very beta. It doesn't work that well. You're welcome to try it out, but it kind of gives a concept of how you can build a website in the cloud with no document root. I think I'm almost out of time.
Still got some time. Yeah.
Any questions? Yes? No. Well, I guess I spent you too quick, huh? Thank you very much. See you guys later.